Friends, you have seen the lesson triangle in mathematics of your class, and what is a triangle, how a triangle is formed, how many vertices it has, sides and etc. And you have also solved some of the problems related to it. Now it is about 3 points. If in case you are going to keep 4 points in several different ways, and when you join it, what type of figure you will get, we are going to discuss now. Now you imagine that you have 4 points and you are going to keep all the 4 points in a same straight line, and the points which lie in the same straight line are called as collinear points. So here in figure 1, I kept 4 points in a same straight line. Let us join these 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. When I join all these 4 points, what type of figure you get? You get a straight line. It is an open figure. Just we can say that it is a straight line. Is it a closed figure like a triangle? No. Now, the same 4 points in which I am going to keep 3 points collinear and 1 is a non-collinear point, and let me join these 4 points. So, when I have joined these 4 points, what type of figure I got? I got a triangle. In this, the midpoint it lies on the same straight line. So, when you join it, only a 3-sided figure you get. We got a triangle, though we use 4 points. But if all the 4 points are not collinear, only any 2 points are collinear. You see this figure here, these 2 points are collinear, otherwise these 2 are here. But when these 4 points are joined, let us join it. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Here you have got a closed figure. It is a closed figure. And how many points you have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you have joined all these 4 points, you got a closed figure, which is nothing but it is called as a quadrilateral. What do you mean by quadrilateral? 4. A figure which has 4 sides is called as a quadrilateral. So here you have a quadrilateral. Now you see the same 4 points I have kept in a different way. Let us join these 4 points. Let me join the 4 points in this way. Here I have joined the 4 points in a different way, and we got even here a figure, a closed figure. This is a closed figure, and even this one we call it as a quadrilateral. It is a concave quadrilateral, and that is a convex quadrilateral. Even another type of quadrilateral you have, that is the intersecting quadrilateral, which has 4 sides in it. Like this, when you join, how many sides are there? 1, 2, 3 and 4. The quadrilateral in which the 2 sides are intersecting. It is an intersecting quadrilateral. So quadrilaterals are of different types, and you are going to give more importance about quadrilateral in this chapter. Hope you all enjoy this now. And we are going to cover only some of the easiest points and the sums, not all the sums related to the chapter, so that you find it easy. And you will come to know all the important points related to this chapter. You see, let us see the definition. What is a quadrilateral? A quadrilateral is a 4-sided closed figure. So, as I said, a quadrilateral is a 4-sided closed figure. And how many sides it has, a quadrilateral has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. Then what about the vertices? How many vertices does it have? You know what is a vertex? The two sides where it meet, we call it as a vertex. So in this quadrilateral, how many vertices are there? Number 1, 2, 3 and 4. So there are 4 vertices in a quadrilateral. And then what about the angles? Angles are the which is found in between the two sides inside the quadrilateral. So like this, how many angles are there? 1, 2, 3 and 4. So a quadrilateral, it has 4 sides, 4 vertices and 4 angles. And not only that, you know what is a diagonal? The line it joins the opposite points. That is consecutive. You are not going to consider the adjacent vertex, but the opposite vertex. You see here, when you join the 2 points, leaving one vertex, the next one will get a line inside the figure, and we call it as a diagonal. So like this, how many diagonals in a quadrilateral you can draw? This is number 1 and this is another diagonal. So how many diagonals you can draw in a quadrilateral? 2. Hence, a quadrilateral is a 4-sided closed figure which has 4 sides, 4 vertices, 4 angles and 2 diagonals. Okay. We have seen about the important points about quadrilateral. Now, we know what are angles, how many 4 angles are there, and what about the sum of these 4 interior angles? What do you mean by interior and exterior? See, here the angle which is seen inside the quadrilateral is called as the interior angle, and the angle which is outside is called as the exterior angle. So what is the sum of the interior angles of a quadrilateral? You see here, you have A, B, C, D. This is a quadrilateral. And this quadrilateral, as I said, it has 4 angles. What are they? Angle A, angle B, angle C and angle D. These 4 interior angles, if you add all together, it is called as the sum of the interior angles of the quadrilateral. And what it may be, let us try to find out. Let us draw any one diagonal. Let us join A and C. We got a diagonal, and this diagonal divides the quadrilateral into 2 triangles. So we got a triangle ABC and another triangle ADC. And as you all know, what is the angle sum property of a triangle? The sum of the 3 angles of a triangle is 180 degree. So let us consider the quadrilateral. It has now 2 triangles. Let us add the sum of the 2 triangles. We will get the interior angle of the quadrilateral. You see, what is the sum of angles of triangle ABC? As you all know, the sum of the 3 angles of the triangle ABC is 180 degree. Again, you consider the triangle ADC. In this triangle, what is the sum of the 3 angles of the triangle? It is again 180 degree. So if you add the sum of these 3 angles, you will get the interior angle of the quadrilateral. That is 180 plus 180 gives you 360 degree. So this is important. We are going to solve a sum based on this property. Therefore, what is the sum of the interior angle of the quadrilateral? It is 360 degree. Hope you all understood what is a quadrilateral and what are the important points it has. That is, it has 4 sides, 4 angles, 4 vertices and 2 diagonals are there, and also a quadrilateral. The sum of the angles of the quadrilateral is 360 degree. And why we have to study about a quadrilateral? What is a rectangle? You know, a rectangle has how many sides? 4 sides. So even a rectangle is a quadrilateral. So like this, we come across several types of quadrilaterals in our day-to-day life. So it is important, necessary to learn about the quadrilateral, because a square is a quadrilateral, a rectangle is a quadrilateral, a rhombus is a quadrilateral, a parallelogram is a quadrilateral. You all are familiar with kite. You used to make kite and fly it. So a kite is also a quadrilateral. It has four sides, and we are going to see all the important properties of these different types of quadrilaterals now. Let us see the different types of quadrilaterals now. Here, number one, a trapezium. A trapezium is a quadrilateral. As you all know, it has four sides. In this case, you can able to see one pair of opposite sides are parallel. You see here, the side, these two are the two sides which are parallel to each other. They never meet at any point. They are equidistant from each other. So this is called a trapezium because it has just one pair of opposite sides parallel. And it is one of the type of a quadrilateral. And you look at this figure, here in a trapezium these two sides are not parallel. In trapezium also two types are there. One is a normal trapezium, the other one is an isosceles trapezium, in which the other two non-parallel sides are equal to each other. If the two sides are equal and these two sides are parallel, we call it as isosceles trapezium. So, what is a trapezium? It is a quadrilateral with one pair of opposite sides are parallel. And the second type of parallelogram, quadrilateral, what we have is a parallelogram. What is in a trapezium? Just one pair of opposite sides are parallel, but in a parallelogram, it has four sides. In that, both the opposite pairs are parallel to each other. You see this figure here. These are the two opposite sides which are parallel to each other, and the other two sides are also parallel to each other. So we call it as a parallelogram. What is a parallelogram? It has both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. And next we have the third type of quadrilateral, that is a rectangle. You see, there is similarities between a rectangle and a parallelogram. In parallelogram, you have two pairs of opposite sides parallel to each other. Similarly, in a rectangle also, two pairs of opposite sides are parallel to each other, 1 and 2. And also, in a parallelogram as well as a rectangle, the opposite sides are not only parallel, they are equal to each other. But the only difference is, here the angles are not equal to 90 degrees. They are slant. They are not equal to 90 degrees. But in case, if you just make it straight, if the slant line becomes straight, then we get it as rectangle. It becomes a rectangle. So, when a parallelogram becomes straight, it becomes a rectangle. Hence, a rectangle is also a parallelogram. But when it is a rectangle, then in a parallelogram, if one of the angle is 90 degrees, then it becomes a rectangle. A parallelogram and one of its angle is 90 degrees. So, a rectangle is a parallelogram in which one of the angle is 90 degrees. Next, let us see what is a rhombus. Rhombus is just like a parallelogram, but here the opposite sides are equal, but in a rhombus all the four sides are equal like a square, but the angles are not 90 degrees. So in this figure, you see all 1, 2, 3, 4, all the 4 sides are equal to each other. But what about the angles? They are not equal to 90 degrees. So a rhombus is a figure, it is a parallelogram with all sides are equal. And the next one what we have is a square. This is also like a parallelogram because the opposite sides are parallel and they are equal. But if it is just like a rhombus, it is a rhombus. But when a rhombus, it becomes straight. When one of the angles is equal to 90 degree, then it becomes a square because the rhombus has all the 4 sides equal. A square also has all the 4 sides equal, but in a square, one of the angle is 90 degree. So when one of the angle is 90 degree in a rhombus, then it becomes a square. So it is a parallelogram. But you see this last figure, a kite. It is known as kite. Here it is not a parallelogram. In a parallelogram, the opposite sides should be parallel. But here, the opposite sides are not parallel. But in this case, it is totally different. The adjacent sides are equal. See, the two sides are equal and these two sides are equal. A kite is a figure which has the adjacent sides equal. And it is not a parallelogram. So these are the different types of quadrilaterals what we have. What is a trapezium? A trapezium has one pair of opposite sides parallel to each other. A parallelogram has two pairs of both the pairs of opposite sides are parallel as well as they are equal to each other. And what is a rectangle? When one of the angle of a parallelogram is equal to 90 degrees, then it is a rectangle. And what is a rhombus? Rhombus is a parallelogram in which all the 4 sides are equal. And if the angle of a rhombus is also equal to 90 degrees, the slant line becomes straight. Then it becomes a square where all the 4 sides are equal and 4 angles are also equal. And the last type of quadrilateral what we have is kite, in which the adjacent sides are equal and it is not a parallelogram. It is a quadrilateral which has the adjacent sides equal and it is called as a kite. Hope you all understood the different types of quadrilaterals we have. Okay children, now let us see the properties of a parallelogram. As you all know, what is a parallelogram? A parallelogram has both the pairs of opposite sides are parallel. Now you see the figure ABCD. In this figure, you can able to see some of the arrow marks. What does it represent? See here, A to D and B to C. These two lines are parallel. The arrow marks represents the two lines are parallel. Similarly, AB is parallel to CD. DC, the two sides are parallel with the same arrow marks. Okay, so in the figure we have two pairs of opposite sides parallel, and already we know that such type of figures are called as parallelogram. Okay, related to this parallelogram, you have several theorems. Based on those theorems, we can solve the sums. So let us see the first theorem, that is theorem number 7.1. Since it is chapter 7, in this the first theorem, that is 7.1. A diagonal of a parallelogram divides it into two congruent triangles. As you all know, what is a diagonal? Which line? The line which joins the opposite vertices of a parallelogram, of a quadrilateral. So here AC is the diagonal. This diagonal divides the whole parallelogram into two triangles, and those two triangles are congruent to each other. You know already you have studied what is meant by congruent in the chapter triangles. That is all the corresponding angles are equal and the corresponding sides are equal in a congruent triangle. So here we have two congruent triangles. The diagonal, it divides the parallelogram into two triangles. One is ABC and the other one is ACD. The two triangles are congruent. That is theorem number 1. A diagonal of a parallelogram divides it into two congruent triangles. AC is the diagonal and ABC and ABC are the two triangles. So they are congruent. Second theorem. It says that if it is a parallelogram, then the opposite sides are equal. See here, if ABCD is going to be a parallelogram, then AB will be equal to CD and BC will be equal to AD. The opposite sides are equal. That is what theorem 7.2 says. And what about theorem 7.3? If each pair of opposite sides of a quadrilateral are equal, then it is a parallelogram. Imagine you have a quadrilateral in which if the opposite sides are equal, then it is a parallelogram. So, these are the two converse of each other. Here it says that if it is a parallelogram, the opposite sides are equal, and according to theorem 7.3, in a quadrilateral, if the opposite sides are equal, then it is a parallelogram. If AB is equal to CD and BC is equal to AD, then it is a parallelogram. Then let us go for theorem number 7.4. What does it say? In a parallelogram, opposite angles are equal. Not only the opposite sides are equal, their opposite angles are also equal. That is, you see which are the opposite angles you have. Angle A is equal to angle C. They are the opposite angles. They are equal. So, if it is a parallelogram, then A will be equal to angle C and angle B will be equal to angle D. So, now you have seen four properties. Number 1, diagonal divides the parallelogram into two congruent triangles. And in a parallelogram, the opposite sides are equal. And if a quadrilateral has the opposite sides equal, then it is a parallelogram. And the fourth one, what we have seen is the opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. Angle A equal to C and angle B is equal to D. Hope you all understood this. And now let us see the remaining theorems. Let us see the rest of the properties of parallelogram. Theorem number 7.5. So, according to theorem number 7.5, if in a quadrilateral each pair of opposite angles is equal, then it is a parallelogram. Imagine you have a quadrilateral. Imagine ABCD is a quadrilateral. In this, if each pair of opposite angles are equal, that is, angle A is equal to angle C and angle B is equal to angle D. If this is 60 and this is also 60, if the two angles are equal, opposite angles are equal and the other two opposite angles are equal, then it becomes a parallelogram. So, if in a quadrilateral, if the opposite angles are equal, then it becomes a parallelogram. And also, theorem number 7.6 says that the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. As I said earlier, a parallelogram has two diagonals, AC and BD. If these two diagonals bisect each other, divides equally at the midpoint of each other, then not they bisect each other, they divide each other equally. See here, AC and BD. The two diagonals, they are not equal, but they divide each other equally. Suppose if AC is equal to 6 cm and BD is equal to 4 cm, then O is the point which divides both the diagonals such that here it is 3 and 3 and here it is 2 and 2. 2 plus 2, 4, 3 plus 3, 6. So, this will be the midpoint of both the lines. That is the meaning of theorem 7.6. It says that the diagonal divides each other and bisect each other. That is, AO is equal to OC, BO is equal to OD. Then here at 7.7, it says if the diagonals bisect each other, then it is a parallelogram. In a quadrilateral, it is the converse of the theorem 7.6. According to that, in a quadrilateral, if the diagonals bisect each other, then it is a parallelogram. And overall, when we see what is a parallelogram, a quadrilateral, if it has the opposite sides, pair of opposite sides equal and parallel to each other, then it is a parallelogram. A quadrilateral is a parallelogram if a pair of opposite sides are equal and parallel. If any one pair of opposite sides are equal and parallel, then it becomes a parallelogram. It is not necessary to see even the next one. In case if one parallel sides, one pair of opposite sides are equal and parallel, then it becomes a parallelogram. AB is equal to, if AB is equal to CD and AB is parallel to, here, when AB is equal to CD and AB is parallel to CD, then we can see that it is a parallelogram. So hope you all have understood all the 8 theorems. These are nothing but the properties of the parallelogram. So if you know these properties, you can solve the sums based on this. Hope you all understood, children, and copy all these in your notes which you have to remember.